What inspired me to join the Council was a couple of things. The first one was the impact that we could have at the United Nations level. I don't think many people realize the size and the scale of the United Nations, both as a brand and also in terms of resources and reach. So just the ability to make an impact at a global level was by far number one. Number two was my peer group is a group that I'm pretty impressed by. So the ability to work with these people, the other nine, and learn from them. They come from very different backgrounds, so I think we have a great group. And I think the third is, as an entrepreneur, you are so focused on the commercial side of success for the most part. I wanted to be exposed to the policy side, and I'm very ignorant on policy matters. And I thought that being a part of the UN would open up my eyes to a completely different world of policy making, of influencing, of getting nations to do things that are right. So the UN seemed like a good platform. What success means to me is meaning. And I feel strongly that even happiness, which is usually the answer, comes from meaning. And meaning is a very personal thing. Meaning is in terms of relevance, in terms of what your company is doing, in terms of what you're doing as an individual, in terms of what you're doing as a human being, in terms of what you're doing as a global citizen who's temporarily renting this planet. Meaning. I learned scuba diving in a very, very foggy, very murky area in Southern California. You couldn't see that far. And I took that license for scuba diving. And I went diving in the Caribbean. And I almost killed myself. And the reason I almost killed myself is I actually went down 40 feet deeper because I could see things so clearly. I didn't realize how deep I was because I wasn't used to that kind of clarity and depth. And when I came out, and I tried to get very philosophical about it because I almost died, somebody mentioned to me, you've confused the clarity of your vision for proximity. And that always stayed with me because I think most entrepreneurs see so clearly how the world should be with whatever they're doing. But that clarity can be really frustrating if they're not patient and they confuse that with things being too close. So the moral of the story, I think, for most entrepreneurs is be patient. And just because you can see things really clearly, it doesn't make them closer, it just makes your vision really clear. And just be persistent. What keeps me up at night is the possibility of being irrelevant in any capacity. So it's also that insecurity that drives most entrepreneurs, I think. I feel that most people don't realize how much the UN has done. And the impact and the scale and the resources. No organization is perfect. And when you get to be a global organization handling 193 customers who all have their own agendas and their own definition of a product with very different senses of urgency, it is a pretty remarkable organization to pull that together. It's hard enough getting two people to agree. To get 193 countries to agree is not a mean feat. So I think while no organization is perfect and the UN is not perfect, I think if the world in general realized how much the UN has done and the impact it plays, not just visibly, but things you don't see the UN do that result in better lives, peace, programs that really do matter, I think most people would be honestly surprised. When half the world is under the age of 30 and going to be that way for the next 10, 20 years, it seemed to us that one of the discussions we've had is how does the UN play a much more important role in forming and incorporating the voices of the global youth. So I'll keep it to that for now, but stay tuned.